Okay, welcome to this evening's stream. So this evening is going to be another evening of creation. What we're going to do is we're going to focus on the other half of the update that we did recently. So we're going to take a look at blueprints. We spent the last couple of weeks taking a look at the way we can remix games and how cool it is to quickly make new games from entirely created games already. So essentially just changing the way it looks, changing up some of the gameplay, things like that. So tonight we're going to have a look at some blueprints, and more specifically we're going to take a look at the 2D time trial. I'm thinking what I might start doing on a Tuesday is having a look at different blueprints as they get made. So I know there's a pretty cool sort of action RPG type, like a dice rolling one that Dayton's made. We've seen Paintball Arena, we've seen a few other pretty cool ones. So if you do have a blueprint idea, then make sure to get that sorted out in the coming weeks, and perhaps we'll play that on a Tuesday in this sort of creation stream. So that's the idea. We're going to see how it goes. As always, if you are watching and you're free to, then feel free to join in and sort of create along, build along. And if you'd let me know in chat if you've managed to make anything by the end of the stream, then perhaps we can all jump in and have a quick playtest. But there's no pressure on that. There's no need for that. If there's no one able to, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in and make, to say, a game from the 2D time trial, probably in the sort of strength and sorcery style. So firstly, I am in the hub. So the hub obviously has our latest mini game running, which is a really cool game actually. We've sort of a game of two halves. You've got strength versus sorcery, or in this case, it's sort of like sorcerers versus the knights. And you can see by the sword on my back which side of the tracks I fall on. Let me know in chat if you're a sorcerer or a knight. It'll be interesting to see how split we are in chat as we go through this. So if you haven't played it already, then you feel free to just jump in the hub. It's a really cool way to sort of engage with Crayta. It's all linked into the challenges and activity, that sort of stuff. So essentially you'll pick a side and you will go ahead and run around and find things to create ammo with to fire at the other team. See at the top that we have a health bar, which is sort of like a tug of war. So the more that we have, the more the knights send over bombs to the other side, the higher that their side will be. So currently the knights are winning. We can see they're just past that halfway point, so it's pretty close. Week one was taken by the sorcerers. There's a bit of a tweak to the way that the game logic determines it, so you should see a little bit more back and forth now once we get in. Isn't there a vote system like this week? I'm not sure what you mean by a vote system. But yeah, so we can see here that I've got a spiked ball ready. Now this is the most damage. This took me 4 hours to create. So the nice thing here is you can sort of set ammo off being created, and then kind of wait. I think it's sort of like a 2 minute, a 20 minute, and a 4 hours or something like that, or a bit different to that. 20 minutes, 2 hours, and 4 hours. And the idea is, the longer you wait, the kind of more crafting time put into the ammo, the more damage it will do. So let's go ahead and fire over to the sorcerer side. And you can see we've done some pretty good damage to their building currently, and that damage will sit there for everybody. So you can see that, yeah. So it's 2 minutes, 20 minutes, and 4 hours. So yeah, I was right. Obviously, to kind of maximise it, you want to get a lot more spiked balls, but you're waiting for longer. So yeah, pretty cool. Stuff like that. There is one on Twitch called Poll. I see. Vote system. Yeah, I guess we could run a poll. I'm not sure there's anyone around in the mod channel tonight. I think it's just me by myself, so we'll maybe get one of those going tomorrow in the play along stream. But yeah, so let me know just kind of through words which side you're on. So we can see that Sinjin is a knight. So I'm on team knight, so we're currently 2-0 up on the knight side. Yeah, pretty cool game. Pretty fun way to engage. And as I say, there's all the usual sort of challenges and activities and things baked into that. So you're not going to be missing out on precious XP. It's a good way to engage with the battle pass. I think there's a few players. I think Dry Cereal, Dry Coast and Cereal, a particular kind of hub players. So I know Cereal's done a pretty good job of getting through the challenge trophies with the hub. So it's a good way. Get those 3 challenges every day, and you'll soon find yourself flying through the battle pass. So let's have a look. So what we're going to do is, as I say, we're going to focus on the blueprint side of things tonight. So blueprints are a really good way to kind of start new sort of game types, and obviously since we've opened this up to the community, we're expecting that to be an ever-growing list of things that we can start from. So we've had quite a few made. I've made one that's sitting somewhere. Oh, Tower of Heck level builder. That's pretty cool. We've had Mining Tycoon. So if anyone's interested to see how the Canyon Miners sort of back end works with the saving and stuff like that, then grab yourself a copy of Mining Tycoon. That'll kind of give you all of that style of logic. Dice-based RPG. I've not looked at this one yet, but I think I'm going to have a little dive into that on a future Tuesday stream. I think I'll spend a bit of time ahead of it, just working out exactly what I want to do with it. Create a paintball blueprint, a slightly different way, and I'm assuming what Mark's done there, assuming it's Mark, is kind of this multiple arena logic, which is really cool. If anybody's joining for the first time and you're looking to do our basic tutorials, which you can find on the developer site at developer.crayta.com, what we've done now is actually quite a cool thing where instead of having to go into an empty game and install the packages, you can now come in via a blueprint, and that's going to give you all of the packages and everything you need for the tutorial in that starting point. It's a really nice way to engage with the tutorial system. Well, what we've got here, my first game sitting there, dial win. Yeah, so some fun things. It'd be nice to see a few more. So if you are, say, someone who's interested in building logic, then now's a really good time to jump in and build some different game modes. Let us know in chat what sort of game mode you'd like to see in Crayta, and perhaps there'll be some creators around who perhaps are willing to maybe do that. So I'm thinking, there's a whole host of shooter genre game modes that we don't really support out the box. We've got survival, capture the flag, free for all, team elimination, that sort of thing. But you've probably got things like Kill Confirmed was a pretty cool game mode where essentially you would have to, every time you get a kill, they would drop an item, and if you recover that, then you score the point. If the team of the person who was killed recover it, then no one gets a point. So you've essentially got to get to the position in which you killed a player to recover like a dog tag, some sort of item. And that's pretty cool, and that should be a fairly simple, straightforward one to add. You've got all sorts of, One in a Chamber was always a pretty fun game mode. There's lots of different sort of game mode types that you could build, and Blueprints are the perfect system for that. So it'd be really cool to see more blueprints being added over time, and obviously away from shooters, you can do all sorts of stuff. We're going to look at a 2D time trial, because I thought this was quite interesting. We're essentially taking a time trial that we already support in Crayta, but just flipping the perspective. So this is Ekelrock, who's done a really cool job here of sort of trapping you in a lane. You can do, there's some cool camera stuff you can do where the camera's going to move around based on trigger boxes, so you can kind of show off different perspectives. So you get that sort of vibe from things like Little Big Planet, or any Ekelrock game, to be honest, that you played on Crayta. So things like Shadow Factory did a really good job of this sort of side perspective, amongst many others. So let's have a look at this. So I'm going to call this, let's call this the cave. So what I'm imagining is this is going to sort of look like, for anyone who's been in the showcase for Strength and Sorcery, or if anyone who's watched the trailer, there's the bit where we see the Wraith in that sort of dark kind of cave area with the huge columns and the bridge in the background and stuff. So I'm imagining that sort of environment and create some kind of cool effects with that, with like a lot of green and dark and lava and stuff like that. So I don't think we have a relevant image just yet, but we can look to grab those. Okay, so just like that, it's as simple as giving it a name, picking an image and hitting go. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump straight into the editor now and actually see our starting point already here for us. So there's a lot we can actually do straight away in terms of building out the level. We don't really have to do any coding tonight, so we might do little bits as we think about it as we go in. But ultimately we're just here to sort of build out this game into a sort of more full experience. Okay, so we can see obviously I've got my 3D perspective here, but that's because we're still in our sort of edit mode. I'm going to hit F5 and we can see that we're instantly sort of switched to this side perspective. So if I press W or S to sort of, I imagine would be up and down on the screen, nothing happens. This is purely using A and D, and it's quite a cool way to really change up, the kind of the camera perspective and the gameplay style. for the games. And it comes with all the logic you'd expect. So we've got things like the death collisions that's going to sort of knock our player around with ragdoll. We've got the timers running, jumps, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping there's quite a few things we can do here and actually complete this base. Alright, so here what we see is the camera stuff. Okay, so as I'm entering this trigger here, we notice the camera sort of snap back very slightly. Okay, and that's just to kind of give you a bit more of a perspective of the trap ahead, perhaps, or it might be to show off something in the background. You might want to really zoom in and kind of show off the player in an epic chase sequence, for example. Like, imagine kind of classic Crash Bandicoot. You know, the perspective there would change quite a lot to show you what was happening. If you were having to run at the screen away from a boulder, if you're running towards the screen away from something else, you know, you can kind of really play with that sort of stuff here. Okay, so let's go ahead and yeah, just dive straight in and start doing some creation. So it's going to be quite a dark level. We'll do this in advanced mode mainly. So I'm thinking I'm going to have columns either side. I want some stuff kind of close to the screen that can kind of swipe across the camera quite close, and it's going to really sell that depth of being like in a really large cavern. So let's turn off the horizon. Now with this sort of stuff is normal, I haven't really planned what I'm going to do here. I normally try and keep the streams a little bit more casual, so instead of coming in with a sort of step-by-step plan, I'm just going to kind of wing it a little bit, you know, and that gives a chance for chat to kind of have their say what they'd like to see, and we can sort of slowly build it together, as you know, per se. So let's start mixing it up. So we want of this floor. I'm going to build some columns for the background. What happens if I black? Okay, cool. So that's how I can change that. I need to think about the light source that would be in here. In a dark cave, your light source is going to be very underlit. If I could have like almost cells that like a mist. So the tint will sort of determine, not much to tint, that will sort of determine the shadow colour and things like that. But let's see about adding fog. There we go. Okay, let's give it some colour. I'm actually working with. I want it to start right in, really fall off. I need to think about how I'm going to hide that horizon. Like that. A little bit of lime, isn't it? Okay, cool. So we're probably going to do some sort of natural wall for the back. So let's get granite. And we can kind of hopefully use this to mask the horizon a bit, but probably hide it a bit, because we can see obviously quite a lot of repeating pattern. I wonder if the sorry, maybe the fog's just going to confuse things a bit too much. I think I didn't have to hide that horizon. Yeah, that might be better actually, 'cause that heating pattern's a little bit nasty. So sort of like I can use like in-world lighting now, because this is like super dark, right? We've got like no atmospheric light at all, and I can sort of sell it with directional lights and things like that. I think that's probably going to be the way to go. So let's create a new column. Okay, and these are going to be our sort of huge columns in the background that sort of imagine sort of like your Mines of Moria, that sort of huge grand scale. And I'm going to try and play some things around in the background that tell the size, and also with that you can kind of create this nice parallax effect, and I think that's quite important for this 2D perspective. You want things close to the camera and far to the camera, and obviously the rate in which they move past the camera will change, and that will really just help sell that depth. Everything's sort of sat on the same plane. It feels like it's a very flat world, there's not much going on, but yeah, if you're trying to make a 3D world but with a 2D perspective, you really want to have things close to the camera and far away from the camera to sell that distance. Things like that, and then you'd probably have similar ones like kind of in front of the camera a bit. So it's tricky. Obviously, you don't want to obscure the player too much in important bits, but it might just be enough that you think when you're playing, you've got this one that's moving kind of slower in the background, but this one comes across much quicker if you run past it, and it's just helps sell, as I say, that sort of depth of environment. Turn that off so I can see what I'm doing. So probably want some decoration on these, make them look a little bit more authentic. Got some nice statues that look pretty cool, like put inside of them. I could do a couple of those and retest them a bit. We've probably actually got some things in our jungle expedition theme pack that work quite well here, so some of the like decorative pieces could work. Ooh, jungle. I'm going to try and maybe think about adding an obby pack into this, so we've got some swinging blade traps. Also need to think about how I'm going to light this as well. There's a specific, like a corner piece. Not part of this pack. Oh, it's for medieval. That's going to create quite a nice shadow on the back with that sort of arch. We use goggles. Oh. Okay, so we can see already got this, like we're going to have this in the background, so if we put a little bit of detail, looks quite nice. We're going to lose that obviously. Ooh. I want to think about how that's going to be lit. Maybe think about how the whole thing's going to be lit. Instead of using the sun, I think about placing a light. I'm going to call this underlight. So the way that directional lights work is very different to what you might expect from things like a point light or a spotlight. A directional light is actually it's completely irrelevant where in the scene a directional light is placed. So if I change this directional, we can see now that based on kind of the direction of these arrows, we're getting a light in here. So if I rotate this round, we're going to see we're now getting a really bright light pointed at this place, and that's because we're getting a directional light coming from basically over my shoulder into the screen. Okay, if I spin this round, we're going to get like a bit of a specular highlight on here. We've now got light sort of coming from behind them. Okay, and then if I obviously spin that up, we're going to be getting that light underneath, and we get a little bit of edge lighting along here. Now you'll notice that if I move this above the scene, we're still getting that edge light underneath, and that's because, as I say, a directional light is completely, it doesn't really matter where it's placed in a scene. The only thing that matters with directional lights is the direction it's facing. Okay, so essentially if you're using one, you just want to stick it somewhere in your scene, somewhere sort of out of the way, maybe with some relevance to where you'd expect it to be. So I'm expecting it to be underlighting, which is why I'm going to put it underneath. As I say, that's completely relevant really. So you get kind of a few less things to tweak here, so you get the intensity overall. You can't really, there's no sense of attenuation or distance. It just kind of complete, the entire light is there. The only thing you can affect is how intense that light is. You can't have a directional light that stops at a certain point. For example, it's just your entire scene will be lit in this direction. Okay, obviously you can cast shadows on that, and I think I will use this as a shadow light. That's a very right, I want this to sort of be a green. And I want to sell the idea that I've got some green light source. Yeah, I don't want to avoid too much of a shadow. So, okay, cool. Let's think about maybe selling that a bit more then. So we want to have a lava. Ooh. We've got our cool new green lava. From the underdark to the underlight. Nice using the 2D blueprint. It's a cool one. I make an epic assault course 2D out of it. Awesome. That's cool to know. Make a new lava. Okay, so that's quite bright, isn't it? But I wonder if, again, I can place things in that to sort of sell that, you know, we're in a place able. What I could also do is probably make it lower. That would help. Now, what I have to do also think about is selling where this is actually, because at the minute it's just floating. perhaps a bit obvious that it's just focusing. Think about that as well. The nice thing about a 2D perspective game is you do have kind of complete locked control, so I don't have to worry about behind me, I don't have to worry about kind of up and down. It's purely just, you know, what's the perspective that the player going to see. So if you're making a 3D game, you kind of really have to think about, you know, as a player, I can look in any direction, I can sort of position my character wherever I like, and you really have to compensate for a lot of things. You can get a little bit more sort of stylish with this sort of game. So what I'll probably do to cap this end off is just have like a cliff wall and a door, and I might do that now to start the flow, but then essentially I don't have to do anything further left than that because I know the player can't get that direction. It can just be a floating block in the side, which is that's being blown out. Okay, right. So one thing to consider. So obviously, I've put a shadow casting light on, but even though the position of the directional light doesn't matter, the sort of the direction of it does matter when it comes to things like shadows. So I'm underlighting my scene from an unknown point underneath because I've just put this plane under there. Now the light's hitting that. So if we go underneath here, we can see here, I don't know if you can tell on that, but essentially my shadow is hitting this and therefore nothing above this is now being lit. So if I turn the shadows off, it's passing through. I wonder... Okay, yeah, so taking a second to do that. Okay, so that's fine. So I'll probably just have to not have shadow casting. That's okay. We shall maybe go for slightly. Okay, something like that. Let's sort out this end here. I'm going to make this sort of like a castle, or let's get a door like this, so the player's never actually going to get through there, but this is sort of selling this is where they've come from. Got a couple of bombs, and I'm just going to get around here. And let's just chip away at this a little bit. Very quickly make it look a little bit more natural, then break up that sort of tiled effect. Okay, I wonder if we need to add some legs to this, almost like a bridge. I'm just going to sort of place the little bit sporadically. I imagine when you're building a huge cave like this, you wouldn't necessarily build it, you know, super detailed. Fairly planned to the brick, how precise it is. That's my excuse. Anyway. Now we can also do a bit of work to make those look a little bit turned up. Okay, let's just take a quick look at preview. Let's just see how this looks in camera. So I might want to do a little bit left-hand edge of that. Okay, yeah, we're starting to get the right sort of feel. I can just see the lava underneath, and yeah, we get that kind of nice little pullback there to sort of reveal, you know, where the player's going to end up if they're not careful. That makes it look epic. Cool. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Not a little bit too green, but a bit. Reminds me of the green screen games back in the day. Very green. Flatness of this as well. You can adjust the offset of the camera too if you want it to be a bit further back by default. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I feel like when I get to doing some traps things, I might start playing with the camera a bit more. Let's put a light source in. Out a bit. I guess a burning brazier looks good. These things that look pretty good, but it needs to be hanging. I want to throw in like probably slightly different colour so it's not too much green. Something like this, and we can pair this quite nicely. Got some nice magical blue fire. But I wonder if due to modding that far. Just see if we can still see that effect. Yeah, so the camera's a bit too far away to see that because of the way the game logs certain things. That effect is probably a bit too big. We're not going to get to see. How close we need. Cool. Okay, that one works really nice actually. So it's not too. It looks like it fits the mesh. Actually, we can still just about see that here, which is cool. Right, let's see if we can take that a step further and maybe get a shadow on that. Make it much more intense. A slightly higher component. Right, the other thing I was going to do was the wall sconce. Has anyone made any? I feel like these must be something that people use all the time. Do we have any flickering light? Oh yeah, Sean's made one. Yeah, let's play with Sean's flickering light script. Like just a... Okay. So, wall sconce. That's quite a cool little script actually. It comes with a few options to really start to sort of tweak the look and feel of the light itself. It behaves, it kind of really sell the idea of it, you know, being a real fire. I don't really want magical. Or fire small. Yeah, there we go. But that's got a flick. That works. I don't know how much of a hit that's going to have, but oh, we've got overlapping lights. Okay, probably not the case. Let's knock down the light's attenuation. Okay, this template is a column. I probably want to do a bit more to make it look nice, but we'll go with that as it. A little bit uniform, as I say, we can slowly add more and more detail. I mean, I'm quite guilty of it, but I think it's quite easy to focus too much on the tiny details. Like, you're better off with getting something up and running first and trying to go from there. With this, let's have a look what we're up to. Okay, so it's kind of, yeah, I need to do something about that sort of back edge. Sort of believable backward dark. You can kind of get a sense of it being a deep cave. Maybe if I had the background, I need to hide that back edge of lava a bit more. So what I'll do, throw a bit. Maybe what I can do in back. Square tool, throw out terrain. For a tip, I map the primary mouse function in editor to a key press so I don't fatigue finger eroding. Map the primary mouse button editor to. Oh, I see. So rather than having to hold like the mouse button, hold different key on the keyboard. Map to. Guess is that the tilde key? Pretty good shout. Now you've said it, I'm really conscious of how like tiring it is on you. Horrible dead fight. So if that ever happens, if you're ever doing this and you get this sort of nasty flickering, it's because you've got two textures on top of the other. So probably in this case, I'm going to take my plane and put that down, and that should eliminate any overlapping texture. And you can see we've just got this little edge above, but that's much faster than trying to sort of delete all of those bits. I'm going to try a little trick here. Like that. If I slice everything off the top of it. Or is that too big to do? Across. Perfect. Just got the night sky. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Is that because why have I got the night sky there? It is technically daytime. Not related to. I could play with some settings. That's quite cool. Too spooky for me. This is just where I get carried away playing with the settings now instead of actually building out the rest of them. I love this one, and I say it every time. I really want more games than this. It's just trying to think of a good one. Good style. Anyway, right. Okay, let's concentrate. So, yeah, I don't really. I'm struggling to understand why I've got the night sky. The background, if anyone watching understands that, then do let me know. Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't there earlier. It was just dark, wasn't it? I must have done something that's in that. That's sun. I mean, the stars. Okay, but I've hidden that. I've hidden that back edge of lava now down there, so that kind of works. What I need now, yeah, is to just not have the stars in the night sky there. That should be good. Right, I'm going to take 2 columns. This. Now I need to think about how they're going to act. What's the atmosphere? The atmosphere is standard. Atmosphere thickness at least was. So I'm pretty sure changing those. Did you have the black fog all the way up before? I don't have any fog. Like the fog's just off. That's my fog. I don't want. Seems like, I mean, that does make a pretty cool background, but spoils the effect on it. Middle of the day. I turned the sun intensity down. I've got a sun and a night sky. I feel like I bugged this out somehow. I feel like I shouldn't have the sun and the night sky. It's on none again. So that's, I think the atmosphere is affecting, it affects this bottom level. Right, so I kind of want it there. I just want to get rid of this stars. That's okay. I'm trying to think what I've possibly done there. Bug that out. May not be a bug, it may just be an oversight. But you know, I feel like I shouldn't be able to get the sun and the night sky. So I think I've done something. But yeah, that's one to investigate. Okay, so let's see where these columns are with respect to the camera. Behind the camera. So, and you right click and reset to default. Yeah, that doesn't seem to. Alright, so is the sun intensity? Okay. So the sun intensity was making it. Yeah, so I've double clicked it and it seemed to reset. So there may be an issue there, but that's a good shout. Ricos, that seems to have fixed it. So double clicking it or right click revert seems to have fixed whatever problem that was, and then the black sun has given me the completely dark background. So cool. Thank you for the tip. Okay, so I'm going to try one of these camera changing triggers. It'll play with this. So essentially what you do is you determine whether the player gets a fixed camera with the checkbox, or you know what the offset is. You know, how is it going to move? If I do this one, it's going to pitch up and back a little bit. Obviously, that's just hugely in the way at the minute. But I'm wondering if there's a better way. To show it. So what if I was to adjust it to the side? I'm going to throw some numbers in here and we'll just look at what. Okay, it doesn't say locked on it. Okay, that's no good. I'm starting to think of what might be better here. Instead of trying to look around a great big column, be to have like something else that's sort of on this side of the track. You don't really want to lose the player. I think if you lose the player behind something, kind of done something a bit wrong there. I could make it like a rock formation or something that's just slightly below the level of the camera. Again, the beauty is you don't really need to decorate the whole thing. It's just only enough of what the players are actually going to see, given that you've got this fixed 2D camera. See that? That might be a bit far back. Let's rack this anyway, so I can make a few of them. Get a glimpse of that one. A thinner wall with archways and windows, because that might, yeah, that could work. I guess you could have like something down below as like a in the distance. Some of these like up higher cameras, you can do some things there. Probably going to change up the way the checkpoint look at. Good next step, and then we can start adding proper obstacles and make things a bit more. And probably want to be. Oh, but these the statues. Would that work? I wonder if I could get rid of that one. Have statue facing. I could get a light on those, that would help. Sync them a little bit. What would be really cool is if the light of the statue turned on when you got to it and it became your checkpoint. That'd require a bit of code, but I'm going to use my walls. This. Put it on the tab. Now I'm going to try using a few shadow casting lights in this game. It's not going to be a big game. It's going to be just a quick little time trial. So I'm not too worried about having kind of performance issues. They're relatively small. Just want to make sure they're not overlapping too much, but it'll be okay. Fire magic blue. Okay, and let's on this. Right, that should. Wonder if the shadow much there. Probably don't want to overdo it actually. Or that. You can still do the flicker. You'll still see the light change slightly. You just won't see the sort of moving arms. Okay. Probably up the attenuation. Yeah, that looks really nice on that flagstone floor as well, because you've kind of got that effect. To be honest, I might remove the shadows on hindsight. Okay. Next, let's think about traps themselves. So we don't want red blocks. What can we do? Right, this is where we're going to have a look at our obstacle course pack. What do I call it? One that Adam made. Obby Component. This is a really good pack if you're looking to sort of build out a time trial or an obby with various sort of traps and things. So this comes with a whole bunch of pre-made templates, which I'm pretty sure still work. They still hold up nicely. So anything obstacle underscore is what you're looking for. Move these plates a bit further. Okay. Right. So we've got the blast points, which sort of explode when the player gets close. Platform, vanishing platform, timed block, swinging axe. Okay, so I believe the way this works is when we can probably change it, but I think it's based on the player's proximity to it. How are we going to sell that as a thing? So it's start upright like for the tavern. haven't been. Perfect, I think. Okay, so let's put all those in the right place. That's like a glove. Perfectly nice. Okay, so let's make a new template of this. Call it standing out. Okay, and we're going to jump across here. I might add a vanishing platform. Falling. And again, the nice thing with this sort of 2D perspective is I don't have to worry about players trying to cheat and go around the edge because they're stuck on this single track. So even though it looks like you could walk around the side, you don't actually be able to, can't do that. 2D version of your ragdoll obby next. Or like the champion one. Yeah, I guess that would be pretty cool. Pretty cool use back. Yeah, let's see how these two work. The axe wasn't up. Okay, so the first playthrough there's pretty. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'll take that. Okay. So again, the first player on that is going to get washed. See about changing the logic for how that looks when it comes back. I think it's quite a big code change. Okay, right. So yeah, we probably want a checkpoint after those two. axes look cool. Yeah, it's like you get that nice metallic sort of sheen off them. Okay, so checkpoint. So then we could do some like jumping puzzle. Because there's get some jumps, and I could always change height as well. Maybe there's a bit of climbing here to do. Maybe there's some gaps to jump over like that. But yeah, for the sake of speed, let's actually use to explode. What might we use instead of a landmine? Because a landmine doesn't really fit. Use some magical orbs. Yeah, magical. I can add a bit of light to these as well. Quite a nice way to enhance the environment. Okay, so on collision is how it activates. Damages the player, but we don't have a concept of health width, I think. We just have sort of alive or dead. Oh no, we do have health. Oh, and there's visible health widget on the screen apparently. Okay, well that's cool, that works. So how much damage is it doing? Oh, it's pretty much one hit kill. Blast the player. Okay, yeah, no, that works. Always rotate and move well. Have jump and crouch sort of puzzle. Really like these standing acts. More of these to spare it. I'm going to test as well, play in a minute. I'm going to test how it handles layer sort of going up like stairs. We can start to play like with a bit more back and forth. how that works. Now, can I clear them? Oh, I should make sure you can't mantle them. Cool, okay, so just follow me up. No. The orbs attached to a locator that spins could be a cool orbit style obstacle. Ah, yeah, nice idea. I'll do that in a sec, because I think that'd be quite a cool endpoint. Some way, like force the player back in your direction. This will kind of drastically change the layout of the map a bit, but hopefully look quite. Can lend into that sort of board idea that Ekelrock mentioned, having sort of thing forefront. Again, it's just even these two pillars here give us that parallax effect. That'd be harsh. Okay, let's make this one 3. A line there to be a bit nice. There. So what I could do here, I could hide some. I think that should set sort of in over those gaps. Oh, I could do some cool if I could sparks right across the top. And then do the spinny up here then. So let's have a look. It'll be straightforward. So we've got a locator in the middle for this center point. Let's add 2 children. Wonder what they are. They collision blast. Right. Make them into a template and use the template. Orb blaster. And now I can create those as children of this. Evenly apart. D. D. Okay, and then in theory I can just spin this. A rotate and move script. I guess is installed, yep. Go, okay. Create a template from this one. Okay. Relative act. So. This is always, you know, the really fun part of game building, making it up, starting to like, yeah, sort of decide, you know, okay, I want to do this here, and therefore I'm going to add a little gap here to make that sort of a bit more believable. Yeah, starting to really not put thought into it, but just sort of, yeah, looks pretty cool. The way that's like dropping in there, and I can do the same on this side now. There we go. see dropping in and out, and probably when I put the lighting back in, that'll look pretty cool. Right, let's get a slightly different voxel around there a little bit. Okay, right, let's test what we've got. Oh, yeah, mantling. Nasty dead fly. Oh, okay. Oh, let's stick up this. Oh, these are really cool. That was a great shout, Dry Coast. Ow. Oh, what? Yeah, okay, I need to add a checkpoint. Okay, can't be mantled. Yeah, that's my. I think this is classed as my final checkpoint. I'm going to move it there and create a new file. Yeah. Can't really avoid that. So that's going to be my new end one, which means the next checkpoint is that one. 2 goes to 3, goes to 4 is the end. I think I need to set that as the end one, don't I? Trace you. Yeah, end is 4. Okay, so we do with some sort of interesting crap. Yeah. So we've got orb. I feel like I could do some sort of blocker here. Big slide to the. How will this work? Feels harsh, but I'm going with it. Let's see how well that works. Feels like a bit of a troll in here. Might be quite dark up there. But do you feel like you can just run past a lot of it? Other than this. Maybe they need to trigger a little bit. They work better now because they reset to the other side. Damn it. I think this is possible. Did it just fine before? Wonder if I need to move the camera here. That's what I might do. Kind of pull it in a little bit here to see better what's going on. That might be a good use of camera. Getting thrown at the camera is a nice effect, yeah? Yeah, it does certainly work quite well. I think the trick for this bit would be to like trigger the camera before, or trigger the axe. Right? Okay, so back. I don't want it to be back, I want it to be in. So I change this to 500. 20. I'm trying to maybe mimic direction. Oh, okay. Much. One thing I wasn't sure is how best to sort of debug this. There is a good way, because I feel like transitioning to an in-world camera would work, but I guess then it doesn't necessarily track the player as nicely as that. Okay, so let's just do a bit of trial and error. And what I might just do this start. So if I do 500, no other move, again. Okay, so that's 20 degrees is that pitch up and pulling right in. Ah, if it's relative, okay. So perhaps if I just did like 50, it'd be. Okay, so it's 50 that side of the player. Okay, so I still want it to be minor. That makes sense. But I want it to be like less minor. Say minus 1,000. Oh, that's perhaps where it starts. A bit less than that. There's a nice thing with Crayta is the speed of iteration. Yeah, you can really start to play with, play with the speed of, play with values and test them quickly. Cool. Okay, right. Let's move it back into. I think that's going to be much closer. One. Perfect. Okay. Clothesline. Oh, and then I have to go across this again. Stopped. Okay. Wow. We're about there. Well, I have one more go, see if I can make it to the end. Dies instantly. Right, come on, one more go. Might just speed up the reset of the. Clip to that back. Okay, alright, well I think that is probably about as far as I'm going to get tonight. I'd like to spend a little bit of time perhaps polishing this up and doing more with it. But yeah, so hopefully that's been a really good example of the sorts of things that you can do with blueprints in Crayta. So we've created a really nice looking environment here. I'm really quite pleased of, for an evening's work. There's a lot of work that can be done, a lot of polish, but essentially to have taken that blueprint and got to this sort of stage, I'm quite pleased with that. I think it's got some nice lighting, got some nice sort of design going on. We spend a lot of time adding more layers and stuff to it, but again, we've got to this point less than 2 hours, so if you were to spend a couple of days working on this, again, you can really make some cool, detailed sort of time trial type events from this perspective. So thanks Ekelrock for the blueprint. Yeah, we'll be certainly this more often, and I hope a lot of other people use it more often as well. So as I say, thank you to everybody for tuning in. I'm going to look to maybe get this one wrapped up and published over the course of the week. Hopefully, it'll be a fun little project to work on between jobs. So yeah, thank you for joining in. Make sure you follow us on all of our social channels that we have available. It's Twitter and Instagram are two that you can find us on at Crayta Game. You can also find us on YouTube and Twitch. So that's kind of searchable. Crayta Game on Twitch or Crayta through YouTube. But yeah, thank you very much. We're going to be back tomorrow. Selena is going to be hosting a play along tomorrow, so do make sure you tune in, grab your controllers, and join in with the fun. I think there's going to be a bit of a focus on some festive games, perhaps, but there'll be all sorts of different games being played tomorrow. So yeah, it's always nice to support. So do make sure you tune in for that. and we will see you in the next stream tomorrow.